Our next topic is object and class in Java. So first let's cover the topic object in Java. An entity that has state and behavior is known as object. Anything which can have state and have some behavior, we can call it as object. For example, we have chair, bike, marker, pen, table. So it can be physical or logical, right? So basically, our object has three characteristics. One is state, which represents the data values of the object, which we call the fields of the object. Then we have behavior. Behavior represents the functionality of the object. For example, the methods of the object. Then we have identity. Object identity is typically implementation by unique ID. The value of ID is not visible to the external user, but it is used internally by the JVM to identify each object uniquely. So there are basically three things. One is state, behavior, and identity. So these are the three main properties of an object. Object is an instance of a class. You can say that objects are the carbon copies of the class. So class is a template or a blueprint for which the objects are created. And instance of those classes are known as objects. Object definition: object is a real world entity, object is a runtime entity, and object is an entity in which state and behavior exist, and objects are the instance of the class. So objects can have fields, can have methods. Fields represent the states, method represents the behavior, and that particular object should be uniquely identified by the JVM. So these all are the characteristics which are required to create an object. Then we have class in Java. A class is a group of objects which have common properties. It's a template or a blueprint from which the objects are created. Let's see what are the various things which are contained in a class. Class can have fields. Any class can have fields, can have methods, can have constructor, blocks, and nested classes or interface. So these all entities can exist in a class. Then instance variable in Java. Java contain the instance variable. There are there are two types of variable. One is instance variable and class variables. Instance variables belongs to the object and class variable belongs to the class. They are static. Non-static fields are non-static variables are instance variable, and static variables are class variables. And like we have two things. One is state. State is represented by the fields. Then we have behavior of the object. This is represented by the functions. There are two advantages of methods or functions. One is code reusability, and another is code optimizations. These are the two important example of the methods. So we can conclude that an object is something which has an object can be a real world entity or a runtime entity which have some state and behavior, and they are the carbon copies of the class. And a class can contain the group of objects, or we can say that class consists of fields, method, constructor, block, and nested classes, and it can contain fields and the methods.